There's a major question hanging over Washington tonight. Are we looking at a limited military response or the beginning of a much larger confrontation? Just hours after reports emerged that a U.S. Army Apache helicopter was brought down during operations near one of the world's most strategically important waterways, the United States launched a new round of military strikes targeting Iranian-linked positions. According to military officials, the operation was ordered as a direct response to what they described as an attack on American forces. And while officials are calling these strikes proportional and defensive, the bigger story may be what happens next. Because this isn't just about one helicopter. It's not just about one military operation. It's about whether the fragile efforts to prevent a wider regional conflict are now beginning to unravel. Tonight, we're breaking down what happened, why it matters, and what could come next. The biggest concern right now is escalation. For weeks, American officials have been signaling that they wanted to avoid a broader war while still maintaining pressure on Iran and its regional network of allies. Diplomatic efforts have continued behind the scenes, and there have been repeated statements suggesting that both sides wanted to avoid crossing certain red lines. But military confrontations have a way of changing the equation. When American personnel come under attack, pressure builds immediately inside Washington to respond. And that's exactly what appears to have happened here. According to available reports, an Apache helicopter operating in the region was struck during an encounter involving Iranian drone activity. 2 American crew members were forced into the water and later rescued. The rescue itself has become one of the most talked about aspects of this story. Rather than relying solely on traditional search and rescue assets, reports indicate that an autonomous maritime drone played a significant role in helping recover the stranded personnel. That development has captured attention across military circles because it highlights how rapidly modern warfare is changing. For years, defense analysts have talked about the future battlefield being dominated by drones, artificial intelligence, and autonomous systems. Now we're seeing examples of that future in real-world operations. The idea that an unmanned vessel could help rescue downed service members would have sounded like science fiction not long ago. Today, it appears to be reality. But while the rescue story is remarkable, it's also easy to lose sight of the larger issue. American forces were attacked. A military response followed. And now both sides are watching each other carefully. The strategic importance of this region cannot be overstated. The waterways surrounding the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz remain among the most important energy corridors on Earth. A significant percentage of the world's oil shipments pass through this area. Whenever tensions rise there, global markets pay attention, energy traders pay attention, governments pay attention, and ordinary consumers eventually feel the effects through fuel prices and broader economic uncertainty. That's one reason every military action in this region carries consequences that extend far beyond the battlefield. Even a limited exchange can create concerns about shipping security, energy supplies, and regional stability. Supporters of the administration's response argue that failing to react would have sent the wrong message. Their position is straightforward. If American service members are targeted, there must be consequences. They argue that deterrence only works when threats are met with action. From that perspective, a measured military response is intended to prevent larger attacks in the future. The logic is that demonstrating resolve today may reduce the chances of greater conflict tomorrow. Critics, however, see risks in that approach. They worry that every retaliatory strike creates opportunities for further retaliation. History offers plenty of examples where limited military actions gradually expanded into larger confrontations. Those concerns are particularly relevant in a region where multiple armed groups, competing governments, and outside powers are already operating in close proximity. One miscalculation can change everything. That's why so many analysts are now focused on a critical question. How will Iran respond? Iranian officials have repeatedly warned that additional military pressure could trigger countermeasures. At the same time, Tehran must also consider the costs of escalation. A major confrontation with the United States would carry enormous military, economic, and political risks. As a result, many observers believe both sides are still attempting to operate below the threshold of full-scale war. The challenge is that intentions don't always determine outcomes. Events have a way of taking on momentum. A strike leads to a response. The response leads to another response. And before long, leaders find themselves managing a crisis that nobody originally intended to create. That's why military planners spend so much time discussing escalation control. The objective isn't simply to win tactical engagements. The objective is to prevent those engagements from spiraling into something much larger. Another important element of this story involves ongoing diplomatic negotiations. For months, discussions surrounding Iran's nuclear program have remained one of the most sensitive issues in international politics. American officials have consistently stated that preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon remains a central national security objective. Iran, meanwhile, has maintained its own position regarding its nuclear activities and regional security concerns. Those negotiations have faced numerous obstacles. Now military developments could complicate them even further. Whenever military action enters the picture, political flexibility often decreases. Leaders face domestic pressure, public opinion hardens, compromise becomes more difficult. The question now is whether recent events will push negotiations off course, or whether both sides will continue pursuing diplomatic channels despite the rising tensions. That's one of the biggest unknowns tonight. Public reaction has been deeply divided. Many Americans are expressing support for the military personnel involved and praising the rescue operation that brought the crew members home safely. Others are focusing on the technological breakthrough represented by autonomous rescue systems and what that means for future military operations. At the same time, there are Americans who are concerned about the possibility of another prolonged Middle East conflict. After decades of military engagements in the region, many voters remain skeptical of any development that appears capable of drawing the United States into a broader war. That skepticism cuts across political lines. Some believe strong responses prevent future threats. Others believe restraint is the better path. Both perspectives are shaping the national conversation, and that's likely to continue in the days ahead. Looking forward, several scenarios remain possible. The most optimistic outcome would involve a limited exchange followed by renewed efforts to reduce tensions. Under that scenario, both sides would signal strength while avoiding actions that could trigger wider conflict. A more concerning possibility would involve additional attacks and counterattacks that gradually increase the scale of military operations. That path carries obvious risks for regional stability, global energy markets, and international security. At this point, no one can say with certainty which direction events will take. What we do know is that the next few days could be extremely important. Military commanders will be assessing the results of the strikes, political leaders will be evaluating intelligence, diplomats will be working behind the scenes, and the world will be watching for signs of either escalation or de-escalation. The bottom line is this: a downed American helicopter has triggered a new military response. An innovative rescue mission has showcased the changing nature of modern warfare. Diplomatic efforts now face a fresh test, and the balance between deterrence and escalation has once again become one of the most important questions in global politics. This story is moving quickly, and developments could emerge at any moment. We'll continue following every major update as events unfold. If you found this report informative, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss breaking news and in-depth analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next report.
You said I'm fine, yeah, classic you. But I know that line ain't ever true. Got your hoodie still in my room, smells like a cheap cologne perfume. Tryna act like I don't care, but your ghost is everywhere. You say we're good, but we're not the same. Now I'm dancing in the pouring rain. Thought we would forever, guess I was wrong. Now I'm just another sad love song. You left me on red, yeah, no reply. Got me overthinking every night. Was it real or just a vibe? Guess I'll never know this time. You said ride or die, then you dipped so fast. Now I'm stuck living in the past. Yeah, you played me like a game instead. Now I'm crying cause you left me on red. Cause you left me on red. Your playlist still got my name, but you don't feel the same. That's insane. Posting pics like you're okay while I'm breaking every single day. You said no drama, no goodbyes, but you vanished like a like, what did you really mean? Every text I never sent, every word I still regret. You moved on like nothing's wrong, while I'm stuck inside this song. You left me on red, yeah, no reply. Got me overthinking every night. Was it real or just a vibe? Guess I'll never know this time. You said ride or die, then you dipped so fast. Now I'm stuck living in the past. Yeah, you played me like a game instead. Now I'm crying cause you left me on red. Maybe I was just a phase, just a spark that fades away. But you were my whole damn sky. Now I'm learning how to say goodbye. Yeah, I'm done with your mixed signals, your late night, I miss your riddles. You lost me, yeah, that's your loss. Now I'm stronger, I'm my own boss. You left me on red, but now I'm fine. Got my heart back, yeah, it's mine. Wasn't love just a disguise? Now I see through all your lies. You said ride or die, but I survived. Now I'm finally feeling alive. Yeah, you broke